Welcome to another episode. Yeah, woo! Tonight's a good one. So my name is Frank Nino, and I am your host for tonight. And so we are talking about healing trauma through sports or with sports. And so before I bring on our fantastic guest today, I just want to say that if you would like to tune in and watch the full episode of tonight's interview, that you can go on our YouTube channel, subscribe, of course, hit that like button, and you'll be able to view our interview tonight to its full capacity. I'll be putting small snippets on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all that stuff. But without further ado, tonight is going to be a great one. I would like to introduce to you our guest, Mr. Prince Leah Mon-Whaley. Everybody give Prince a nice welcome, a round of applause. Prince, it's so good to have you on the show. And so, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm good. My mom's in Europe right now, so I'm here at the house, and my dad's here. So we're just trying to settle up for college because I have college in August. So she's gonna come back and is straight to school. But yeah, we're preparing for that right now. So yeah, I'm good.
Awesome, Prince. It's an honor to have you on the show. I'm so grateful and thankful that you're here with us tonight. And so, obviously, the topic of tonight's show is going to be healing trauma with sport. But I'd like to ask a couple questions, okay? If you don't mind answering a couple of questions. So, one of the questions before we dive into our actual questions throughout the show, one of the questions is, where does your name come from? Can you tell the audience where you get such a fantastic name like Prince, Leah Mon-Whaley?
Yeah, so basically there's this like royal name in my family. And so since I'm the youngest, I was named Prince. My sister is named Sasha, and my brother is named Daniel, which means like the ruler. My dad is Leroy, so that means king in some other language. I think it's French, but yeah, I was the youngest, and they were like Prince. Yeah. So
awesome, Prince. I love your name. I can't get enough of it. So I'm going to go ahead and ask our questions. So the first question that I have for you is, what is the most interesting thing that you've learned recently?
Most interesting thing that I've learned recently? I've learned that usually, like, I'm gonna be very honest, I'm a night owl. I've always been like a morning person, but I've recently like learned that I'm a night owl. I like doing all my work at night. I usually do that time, like usually when I take calls and stuff, because I'm starting to become more busy because like I'm 18. I'm starting the adulting thing, and like now I'm like, okay, I like doing things at night more. So I don't know. I'm like a night owl. So
I don't blame you, Prince. I'm a night owl too. I'm up all night. You know, but back when I was younger, I used to be up all night, really. But now I'm up as late as my body allows me to. So
right.
Take advantage of it. So my next question to you is, if you were to name something on your bucket list, what would be the top thing on your bucket list right now as an 18-year-old?
Yeah, as an 18-year-old, like I said, that adulting thing comes in, and your mind, I think at this age, starts racing a lot. So I'm like, okay, I've got college, I've got this. My top priority, even though I would like to kind of smash all those things, is really reaching out to the community, any community that I'm in, and making a difference. and making a good impact, because I think this world really needs it, especially in these times. So I feel like starting young is a great start for someone like me that wants to do something like that. So yeah, that's my
My
top priority now.
my hat's off to you, Prince. I am
Yeah.
so amazed on how mature and just how much you want to do already. I wish I had the same mindset at 18 years old. Unfortunately, I did not. But you are well on your way, my friend. You are well on your way. So I applaud you for that big
Thank
time.
you.
So, my next question for you, last question. If you were to have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, any superpower? I love that question. I always come up with the most unexpected answer, which is like a very mystical type of powers. Like usually people say super speed. I say like I don't even know, like walking through walls or like reading people's minds or something. Maybe invisibility. But I think out of all of those, it's definitely telekinesis. I would love to move things with my mind.
Oh, it always seems to be a common thread with a lot of people because I think I'd want that one too with my mind
Yeah.
to be able to control things. But that's awesome, Prince. So we're gonna get down to the meat of the show, and so what I'm gonna ask you, my very first question that I have for you tonight, and you be as vulnerable as you would like to be, okay? Is can you share any traumas or hardships that you've encountered in your life?
Yes, absolutely. Traumas and hardships is something that am still actually training myself to overcome, because life is always throwing new things at you. It doesn't matter what age you are or where you're from, you're always going to go through something. And for me, my story, my hardships and my traumas were mostly school related. When I was younger, I was always moving everywhere, from state to state. And I remember I was in Vegas and I had a hard time there, with schooling. I think I'm older now, so those memories have always faded, but I still remember being a hurt little boy sometimes because I was always looked at as an outsider. So that made me question not only myself but society. I was like, well, what's wrong with me, you know? And I remember I always had my mom, because my mom and my dad were never together, and I would barely see my dad at times. So I always had my mom, and she was the best, but I still had those moments of doubt. And after that, I moved here, back to Arizona, because we were in Arizona for a while, but then we moved out. And then me and my mom, we came back here in, I think, 2014. I was in the fourth grade. And so from there, I think my mom, she met this guy, and then they hit it off, and then we started living with him. And I went to public school because before fourth grade, I was always homeschooled. Um, and just because of the things that I was going through, I think my mom was just like, yeah, it's better to do homeschool. And because we had that type of time. So I think when we got here, I can't really remember why, but I ended up going back to public school. And I didn't think it was going to be really as bad as it really was, especially in the situation that I was in. I didn't know at the time that there was so much racism, especially in white affiliated schools. And so I was like, okay, yeah, this is a new start, but I went through a lot of things. So when I was there, I remember I was in the fourth grade and I was in the normal classes, but they also had a division class for autistic kids with ADHD. And so for me, I went through something that was like kind of unbearable, but I was told that I had ADHD and that I was placed in that class for a reason, even though there was nothing on my record. I only had ADHD on the spectrum, but I was placed in that class, and I saw some things that really made me think about the school system. And so I remember for a while I was going through that. And that was from fourth grade all the way to sixth grade. It got a lot worse. I didn't know that school was so harsh sometimes. Like I said, especially with the color thing, there's a lot of things in society that I didn't really understand, like, the difference between African Americans and white people and how different they are, how different each culture tries to make them out to be. And so I think it was like kind of pointed in a bad way. And I didn't really like that. I didn't understand that. So on and on, I think I was able to hold it down because my amazing mom, she always taught me the best, and she always taught me to hold my head up high, no matter what circumstances I'm going through. And I made it. And then I got to high school, and I remember going, and I really was at that point in my life where I didn't understand all of my abilities, or I really didn't look into them because I felt like I was so damaged. And I really think I was, because the things that I had seen and went through were very, I could say, extreme. And that really put me in a dark place. So it was 2019. I was a freshman in high school. And there I had dealt with a lot of ugly truths. I had got sexually assaulted my freshman year by a student that I just never saw it coming, and so that again was something else that I had to overcome, and the racism just excelled from there, and I think it's not talked about enough, but a lot of schools do have that factor, and so then again, I started looking at life a little differently. So I would say about my junior year, I had switched schools. My mom and I moved because of how extreme everything was getting. And we're here now in Buckeye. But yeah, we moved, and I can say that was a touch of God, because I think that what I was going through was going to just break me down even more and put me in darker places. And I was already in a dark place as it was. And when we moved here, I really didn't think I needed much of anything. I didn't think I needed a community. I actually thought everything that I went through, I was more emotionless. Like, I've went through all that stuff, and what else is next? I ended up finding a community after that, and that is called CCV. It's Christ Church of the Valley, here in my hometown. And there I was like, okay, I was still going to school out of this city, in Scottsdale. But there I had stayed a few months, and I still was feeling empty. I still felt like I didn't have a community, even though I went to church every Sunday at this newfound CCV that I was going to. And I don't know, I just never had it click. And I remember I even was going to therapy for all of the, I would say 8 years of torture that I was going through. And even then, it just wasn't clicking. So I finally, even though we moved and I had this church and I was going to therapy, I ended up telling my mom, hey, I've got to switch schools, because I found this school, and it's a fast-paced school. It's called Humanities and Sciences Academy. And there I was like, this really fits my type of learning skills. I've always been a very fast learner. And I don't know, I didn't really fit in the normal schools where you learn one little thing at a time. I've always been like a very on spot person when it comes to learning things. So the school was a fast paced school. It was convenient for me and my mom, and we just ended up making a switch. Um, and when we did that, I feel like that was the first step in healing myself, because it was the first time where I made a decision for myself that I knew that was safe for me. And so when I did that, everything pretty much changed. I came in there, they were telling me that, hey, you're not going to graduate with the 2023. You're not going to graduate. You're going to graduate in 2 to 3 years, because of how low my credits were from the previous school that I was going to, due to the society and all of that. I wasn't able to really focus on my schoolwork, even though I was a very hard worker in high school. When I did go to that specific school, I was a hard worker. I stayed in contact with all my teachers. I was very involved. But there was a lot of things that were blocks for me, like joining clubs because of my skin color. I was only forced to go to join certain clubs, like theater or choir, but I wasn't allowed to join like Spirit Week Club. So it was just little things like that that really stuck me, and it just put me in a dark place. And therefore, I never really got to focus on my work. And even when I did, the school would they would do this thing where I would do work and then they would discredit me for it. So I would never get my credits in. So when I did switch to the second school, that's what they were telling me. Because of that, you're not going to graduate on time, and you're going to be probably like 21, 22 graduating high school. Well, I didn't want that to define me. And so me being the person that I am, and, having the mother that I do, I worked my way to graduate from high school, because I came in there literally with 8 credits. And that's not passing if you want to graduate. So I worked hard. I came up with a valuable schedule that I was able to keep track with, so I could be to school on time. I was always the first one there, rain or shine. And I remember going in there every day and working really hard. They had packets, and then they had online work, and they had tests. And so I just went through a phase of that every single month. And I think that is when I started to feel better about myself, because I started creating my own reality and creating my own way. So yeah, I ended up doing that. And in 4 to 6 months, I graduated high school, all of high school, freshman, sophomore, junior credits, fixed along with my senior credits that were installed. So, I did not let any of that define me. And I think that's really what people get stuck in. Sometimes it's like being in a force field, and you just can't get past the force field because that's society telling you, hey, this is what you're capable of. And so you have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what are you capable of? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do the self-work? And once you start doing that, you have to be consistent with it. And the consistency, that will get you where you really need to be. So I kept that consistency. I kept the A-list work, and I made it. And I graduated. I actually got my diploma early, ahead of my class. I got it in February 2023, and I graduated in May 2023. So along the lines of those months that I was working, I also found that I had certain abilities. Like I had a very good eye for art, and also in life. I would take these really cool pictures, and my mom was like, oh, you're really good at taking pictures. But I always didn't really believe her. I was like, okay, she's just saying that because she's my mom. And then I would show other people, and they were like, she's not lying, and like, you really take good pictures. So I really saw more of that that life structure that I've been talking about, like me switching to schools. This is something else that's being brought to me because I've been able to get myself out of one spot, and now I'm finding myself in another with the fruition of the abilities that I have. So with there, I was like, okay, well, can I apply this to something? Because that's another thing. I've been told that, you know, I can only do this and I can only do that. And I just never, I didn't even know I was really like, had an eye. So from there, I was like, I can really apply my skills because I would see everybody else apply their skills to something. And, being that kid that felt alone and felt like he didn't really belong in the world, or felt like I couldn't apply myself to any community, or if I didn't have one. This really taught me that it's never ever too late. It's never too late to apply yourself. Um, some people are in their 30s and they're like, wow, like this is something that I really want to do, or they find something in themselves that they really want to do. So for me, I always thought, well, if I'm young and I'm finding all these abilities, it's never too late for me. So of course, I was on the hunt for something that I can apply myself to. And that's where I found the community part, helping community, helping other people, um, and really just being in having a teamwork type of mindset. Because I found out that I'm not the only one going through the things that I go through. And sometimes if I really look in between the lines and in between the cracks, there's other people that are going through way worse things than I am. And there's sometimes people that are going through the same things that I'm going through. So I'm not really alone. And I had to take that into credit. So that's what inspired me. And that's what made me feel like, you know, I can be a beacon of hope for other people, no matter what people say, because that's regardless. People are always going to say something. But I feel like if you really apply yourself, then you have nothing to worry about, as long as you're helping the community. So that's what I told myself. And from there, I ended up finding Rising Sun Athletics. I had actually just started my Rising Sun business. And so I ended up finding Rising Sun Athletics, and I fit right in, and I did things in this community that I didn't think that I was going to do or have an impact on. And I really felt like I was a part of a bigger world. And that was very inspiring, and it made me feel more sure of myself and who I was. And therefore, I was able to really build character. And yeah, that's my story. But other than that, yeah.
Wow. Wow. So let me just say, let me say a couple of things to you. So number one is I am deeply sorry about you having to experience all those traumatic things, from having to move from house to house. I definitely know what that's like from moving house to house, and trying to find your identity and really figure out who you are. I especially am sorry about the sexual attack that you encountered in high school. That should never be acceptable at all. And so, with deep remorse, I am so sorry that you had to go through that, Prince. And so, I also want to be able to tell you is you are on a pathway that is rare, that most people spend the rest of their lives trying to figure out how to get on the pathway that you're already on at 18 years old. So you should be very, very proud of yourself, considering that you went through all the things that you went through at such a young age. And, definitely having the mother that you had, because she sounds like a rock for sure in your life.
Yes.
And having that support for you, and being able to push you through and continue to walk forward in the midst of chaos, in the midst of questioning, in the midst of being an outsider and feeling alone, feeling unseen. I definitely can relate to all of those things that you went through. And so I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, from the bottom of my heart. But I really am happy that have um, you have a great story towards the end, but yet the beginning of your such a young life. And so at 18 years old, you're going to be a star, man. When you get older, you are going to be a rising star. And so I compliment you in every single way, because you are doing all the right things. You're staying connected. You're searching within yourself to figure out your strengths and the things that you're good at. And so I applaud you for that. Okay. And so
Thank you.
I really think that God, and speaking about God, and CCV and all that, finding a church and finding a community that really kind of accepts you, and even within the sports community of Rising Sun Athletic, you have made a difference, and you fit right in to all of that. And so I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see your journey unfold. So we're
Thank
gonna
you.
move on to the next question. So the next
Mhm.
question that I have for you is, let's see here. And so, in what ways did sports provide a sense of stability or escape during challenging times in your childhood?
Yeah, so sports creating a stability for me. I would say when I was younger, I wasn't really involved in sports. I've always been more of the arts kid, but I can say since I've joined this organization, seeing the children that I take photos of when they're playing the soccer games or the volleyball, um, taking videos and seeing them and dealing with things. Maybe, if they're going through something or if maybe they lose a round, um, they really have hearts of steel because they usually go um, win or lose, and then they learn the importance of sportsmanship at the end of the day. Um, and God always says, love thy neighbor. I feel like that's really powerful because it teaches us to have a sense of humanity. Um, and yeah, for me, that's created a sense of, like you said, stability. But it's also created a place like home, like, a place of family. And even interacting with them sometimes, like I did some of the interviews, and their interviews, they're all like hyped up and they're talking, and they're just discussing how they view their teammates, and that's really powerful. So yeah.
Awesome. I love that answer. That is a great answer, Prince. And so I love that you have that perspective, and it makes all what we are doing together as a community worth every single second of our time and ounce of
Mm,
our energy, to hear you say that you feel like you're at home, and like it's a family. And so I really, from my heart, I appreciate that. So the
mhm.
next question that I have for you is, reflecting on your own experiences. How do you believe sport can benefit and support others who have faced similar challenges?
Um, yeah, similar challenges. Like I said, finding that community, it really stabilizes you, especially in physical sports. you're not only keeping your health up, but you have people around you that you can interact with and feel like you have like a family bond, because you're going in game and you're with these people, and these are the people that you're going to win with, and that's the goal going into the game. So I feel like anybody coming into sports, that's what you're going to experience, is a sense of family. Yes, it's not going to be easy all the time, but that's the most important parts. That's what's going to build your character, because you're going to grow from that. And so, yeah, that's my personal take on that.
All right. Well said, Prince. So, my last question that I have for you before I kind of give you the spotlight, it's called our special spotlight.
Okay.
The last question that I have for you is, in what ways do you see your passion for sports contributing to your ongoing pursuit of excellence and becoming the best version of yourself?
I love taking pictures during sports. I love doing the videographies and the interviews, because I get to see in the kids' faces that they're really going for that goal, and you can see they're hungry to win, and they're hungry to succeed. So I really like seeing that. I think in the future I would still love to take videos and do photography, expanding from here for different programs, and maybe for different organizations that are sports related, because I feel like I have a connection with that, and yeah, that's something that I would like to do in the future, job or not. That's something that I love doing, and it gives me a sense of peace. So yeah, I love doing that.
Well, I believe that eventually it will be a job for you because you are creating your own destiny. So hang on tight, man. You never know. So so now that you're on the last part of the show, which is our special spotlight, and so we typically give our guests about 5 or 10 minutes to kind of talk about anything, any organization. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe
Right.
you are really passionate about a certain organization. And so I want to be able to shed light and give you this opportunity to be able to promote what you are extremely passionate about and frankly, what you believe in. And so now is your opportunity to have the special spotlight.
Thank you. Um, I can say what I'm doing right now. I'll give you a layout. So I have my business, Rising Sun, or not Rising Sun, Rising Star Health and Wellness, and so that I use as a healing for the community. So I sell liquefied products that help you with your gut health, or if you have trouble sleeping at night, that helps as well. Or energy, if you have trouble with energy, that I have some products for. Um, Another thing that I'm very passionate about, and I'll get to the one that I'm most passionate about, save the best for last. But the second business that I have is, it's called Shake and Not Stirred. And so that one, and I'll tell you my commission story in just a minute. I sell lemonade to Royal Oak Coffee Shop, and that is like in the Biltmore Fashion Park here in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. Um, and yeah, I just go in there and sell lemonade. It has a profile taste, so anybody going in and tasting that is like they've never tasted it before. No other lemonade can even compete with it because it has a profile taste. So yeah, and it's made from natural lemons, and my kitchen. So yeah, I gotta go try it. It's really good. I've even tried it and I made it and I think it's delicious. But the
Awesome. So
third business,
I have one question. So if
yeah.
people want to try the products from the first
Mhm.
ones from Rising Star or
Mhm.
from the Lemonade, where would people go and how would they be able to contact you if they're interested in purchasing or even having samples of this stuff?
You can reach me through my Instagram as well, maybe through my Gmail. I'm on there as well. Can I put that in the chat somewhere, or do I
Yeah,
just say it
if you
out loud?
want to, if you just want to say it out loud, how people can
Yeah.
reach you, that'd be great.
My Instagram is just my name. It's PRINCEXLEAMON. And then I'm going to repeat that PRINCEXLEAMON. And through there, it'll be in my bio. You'll see Rising Star Health and Wellness, and that's the link. You can go through there and purchase your health products. And yeah, that's where you'll get them. And they do delivery as well. So it'll just be delivered right in your mail, and they come in boxes, so you're not just getting one packet. Um, you're getting a full subscription.
All right.
So make sure you go subscribe to that. The second business that I'm mentioning, Shaken Not Stirred, that is at a coffee shop called Royal Coffee Company over in Biltmore Fashion Park in Phoenix, Arizona. Please go try it. It's right near MAC and Macy's. They're like right in the corner, like once you go in the plaza, and it's to the left. So, and make
And
sure to
I'll
mention,
make sure to put the your Instagram photo and the Royal Coffee Company. I'll make sure to put the picture of that in our interview so people can visibly see it as well, friends. So I got you.
yes, thank you. Yeah, that's over there at the Biltmore Fashion Park. Like I said, make sure to mention me because but yeah, so that's something else that I'm doing. I mentioned my commission story. How I really started this business is that I was going to get my out of country passport, and I ended up meeting this really nice family. It was a mom, a dad, and their two kids. They were a very young couple. But that is who I envision coming in Royal Coffee because it is so hot out. Little kids going, hey, I just want simple lemonade, and they're getting the best flavors, fresh lemons, and yeah, it's very refreshing. So that's who I envision coming in there, and yeah, please go try some. It's yummy.
It sounds
So
delicious. It makes me want to get
yeah,
some lemonade. So I'll be by there for sure.
yes, please. Um, the third one is it's called African American Reconstruction. That's more of an internship, but it is something that I still am involved with. Besides Rising Sun Athletics, um, and there I'm an intern, and what we do is we set up events and we we give our community a sense of empowerment and teach them about their rights when they are confronted with ugly matters, because they do happen, whether people like it or want to talk about it or not. And so we teach them their rights, and we just also give them fun games that they can go along with. And it doesn't have to be all sad, but they also get to learn a little bit about their history, which I also think that a lot of our community needs to learn about our history, because I feel like we only learn certain things about African Americans in the school system. Um, and sometimes we are not told some of the good attributes that our ancestors have done. And so we teach them about that. And other things. But yeah, we set up different events. Like we just had a 5K run this year, that everybody joined. Like I remember it was a lot of people. It's also a good place to come and be a vendor at, for your business. It's great to show off your business, show what you can do. We have a lot of small businesses, especially Black-owned businesses, that come and show off, what they're doing. We've had people that made jewelry. We've had people that come. I remember there was one vendor this year that they had their own signature barbecue sauce that was delicious, and their own signature brownie. They had a caramel brownie. It was really good. And I made a TikTok video about it. And I was, yeah, it was great. Yeah. So, so that's something else that I'm passionate about. But again, these are all things that I have collectively involved myself with through self-improvement because of the things that I went through. So most of the reason why I'm joining these programs is because I resonate with them. Like African American Reconstruction, I resonate that with the trauma that I went through with the racism in the schools, and I see it's very progressive. We've had a lot of, like, even when I joined, there's numbers just rising up, and so that means we have a presence, and so that's something that I love doing. So I love to just join organizations and get to work and make a good impact on any and every community, if not all. But yeah.
You and me both, my friend. You and me both. So we're kindred spirits. Well,
Yes.
Prince, it was such a delight to have you on our show. I really, really, really loved having you on our show, and to hear your story. Powerful, powerful. I have a feeling that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to resonate with your story, and you're going to create ripples in the waters, my friend. So I love being around you. I love having you around the organization, and I appreciate everything that you do for our communities, for our kids, for our parents, capturing those moments. Those are things that are special, that kids and parents and families get to keep for the rest of their life. You're not just taking pictures, you're capturing moments, and you're creating a legacy. So don't ever forget that. I loved having you, Prince. So we will catch up soon. I imagine sooner than later. And I cannot wait. Yep, I cannot wait to hear more about what comes to fruition with your entrepreneurship and your journey with being involved with the communities and helping out. But man, you are a special person. So Prince, keep doing the good work, man. We need more people like you.
Yes, thank you so much, Frank. It was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. I'll see you later, my friend. All right, so that was an amazing interview with my friend Prince, whom I love dearly, and I appreciate him being a guest on our show. And man, that was powerful. So tune in on a full episode if you'd like to see a full episode on the YouTube channel, on Rising Sun Athletic League YouTube channel. Otherwise, I'll be creating those little snippets, which there were a lot today, but I'll only be creating a few for those that will be viewing on our Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. So if you'd like to be a guest on the show, contact us. Anybody's welcome. We're all welcomed, okay? Especially the ones who feel unseen. Thank you. Have a good day. Be blessed.